said they had already registered to vote. Most of them said they voted before. So our focus had to be on new voters, youth in particular, to make sure that we mobilize those ones to go out. However, in that process also of calling for people to go out and vote, our requests and questions also included what the challenges are in relation to the areas where people live. So we're not just going out there to ask people to go and register to vote, we're also listening to some of their challenges.
And what are some of these challenges that you've picked up?
It's the usual issues of housing, issues of electricity, issues of jobs. So we focus on that because we also have to carry the requests and the issues that people were raising. We have to take those into consideration as we go into the next government.
Now, we understand that residents in Sebokeng were left disappointed when the ANC chairperson, Baleka Mbete, did not show up for the campaign on Saturday. Can you perhaps give us the reason as to why she didn't show up?
Yes, well, she had an unfortunate situation of a funeral in her family, and she really had to attend to that. But however, other leaders of the African National Congress were there to take to deal with the issue, but it was just that she had a family bereavement.
Now, there's a number of protests around the country. There were some areas, Bekkersdal was one of the areas where voter registration did not take place entirely. There were some places where it didn't happen at all. What do you make of that?
Well, it is unfortunate, but I think I'd like to first thank all the South Africans that went out from the African National Congress point of view, to thank all the South Africans that took the time, because it was a weekend time when people had other things to do. We thank those that have been able to go out. And as for the areas where there were those disturbances, it's very unfortunate because that infringes on others who wanted to go out there and vote and register. But secondly, we also feel as the African National Congress, there are many ways of dealing with challenges, and this that some of members of our communities go out there and burn the little that they have, because they're burning clinics, they're burning libraries. That's the little that people have, and that's what people need to work on to improve their environment. It's unfortunate, but I think that we are on top of it, as Minister Nathi Mthethwa has been out there trying to deal with the issues. We think that we have a capacity to deal with those issues, but we also call upon our communities to also consider the fact that those that are out in the streets burning and preventing others from going out to register, they are infringing on the rights of other members of the society. These
challenges, which is the service delivery protest that you mentioned, do you think that the protests that have engulfed the country are maybe a sign of dissatisfaction with the ANC in terms of the people that's going on protest?
Dissatisfaction is one thing, destructive is another. I think that we have to come to a point where we must not tolerate that kind of destruction that is happening. Right to protest, yes, that's a right that's enshrined in the Constitution. However, everybody has got a responsibility, because democracy and freedom also comes with responsibility. Yes, we see those as the African National Congress as a challenge. Yes, we agree as an African National Congress that there are areas where we have not delivered as we're expected to deliver. But however, we're saying 20 years in office and 20 years of democracy, we have learned our lessons. We think that the areas where there are weaknesses, we are now ready to deal with those challenges. We have a plan to deal with those challenges. We're just saying to our people, give us that opportunity. We will prove to them that what we have done in the 20 years of democracy, it's a record itself to prove that we can do things better. We can make South Africa a better place for everybody.
The plan that you talk about, a lot of people are calling out for service delivery. They're calling out for water. They're saying that cadre deployment is not working. Are those some of the plans that you're working on to make sure that these things does not happen in the future?
Absolutely. When we say that 20 years of democracy, we've done the best that we can, but we are also saying we've learned the lessons. We then need to deal with those lessons, such as deploying people that do not have the capacity to deliver at council level. And by the way, it's not just a question of deployment at local level, it's deployment at all levels. One of the lessons that we have learned is to say that some of the people that were deployed, some of our comrades were deployed, have disappointed the organization itself, have disappointed some of our people in the different areas. We're saying that that should not happen again, and we must make sure that it doesn't happen, because then now that we've learned the lessons, we need to make sure that we deploy the right people that have the right skill, that have the right experience for the jobs that need to be given.
Many people say that the rural areas are never really visited with these door-to-door campaigns. Did you make sure that the rural areas were also covered?
Oh, absolutely. The African National Congress covers all areas in South Africa, including the rural areas. In fact, if you even look at our policy positions, we see the rural areas as one of the areas which we need to improve, because the influx of people coming from rural areas coming into town to look for jobs where the jobs are not there, people need to be able to remain in the rural areas, provided there is an infrastructure. And so we have a plan for the infrastructure development in the rural areas.
We are speaking to NEC ANC member Lindiwe Zulu. Now, Lindiwe, if we look at the Democratic Alliance, your opposition, is also doing a door-to-door campaign. Are you intimidated by this?
Absolutely not. We would never be intimidated by the DA. I mean, their history and the gimmicks that they're going through now, it's not our making, it's their making. We're not intimidated. We focused on our campaign. Our campaign is always positive. We don't do mudslinging out there because we don't believe in doing that. We think that our history of ensuring that the campaigns are free and that there is no intimidation is a pillar for us, and we are not intimidated by anybody. We think that the plan that we have, that we are rolling out, our elections plan that we are rolling out, will convince South Africans that yet again we are the best party to take South Africa forward.
The failed marriage of the DA and Agang, as well as the 5-night stand, which didn't last longer than that, is that maybe an advantage for the ANC in the upcoming elections?
Well, when they make the mistakes, it's an advantage for us, yes, of course. And because we're not making the mistakes, they're making the mistakes. But however, we stand on our plan. We have a plan. We always make sure that we implement our plan. Our next step in the phases of our elections is the Maihlome phase. And that's the phase that's going to see lots and lots of South African members of the African National Congress going out there to our communities, mobilizing our communities to go out and vote for the African National Congress.
Will you be doing another door-to-door campaign just before the elections? We
continue to do the door-to-door because we believe that door-to-door is very important. Door-to-door is important because you are face-to-face with the voter. If you are not afraid of facing people, you will do more and more door-to-door. But if we are afraid of going out there to talk to people, you'll have less of door-to-door. We're doing more of the door-to-door because we believe that that's how we can be able to keep in touch and be able to answer the most difficult questions to the voters.
Looking into your crystal ball, what are the chances for the ANC in this upcoming elections?
The chances are very good for us. We think that our history, the work that we've done in the past 20 years, and the plan that we have for the next 5 years is what will make people come out and vote for the African National Congress.
Thank you so much for your time, Lindiwe.
My pleasure.
That was ANC NEC member Lindiwe Zulu here in studio with us.